Peace, peace. Welcome back to season 2, episode 4 of the Leaders Only Digital Show and Podcast, brought to you here by What It Changed Mentoring Inc. and Tone Throne TV. I'm your host, Kendell. I'm Semaj. And today we have our first guest, the Honorable Judge Faruqui. He will be here with us today to dialogue and join us and build.
So honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor.
Thanks for having me.
If you're watching right now, if you're having a watch party, we ask that you invite your family, your friends, your loved ones to like, subscribe, click the bell. If you want to reach out to us with your comments or anything on your mind, you can also hit us on our email at leadersonly22@gmail.com. So today we touched up last week, and I gave you a little bit about what I was doing in the community and the trials and the things that I have accomplished since I've been home for the last 3 years. And I also dropped the bomb on y'all that the Honorable Judge got me my probation released early, so that was a blessing.
I'm going to say, I don't think I did. I think you did, Casey. You're the one who did all the put the work in. And that's the job of a judge, is to recognize when someone has stepped up, done what they promised to do. Then it's not only about, taking them down and saying no, it's also about lifting them up. So, I mean, you were a leader in our ReEntry Court program. You led people out after the ReEntry Court program. And so, it seemed to me that it was a very clear decision. It's like, that's why the court here, Judge Walton, everyone, the Stallman, PO, everyone was talking about you, is that, you lit it up. And so people wanted to get you off paper. So I was so excited when I got that text from you say, hey, man, I'm off paper.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. So, man, it's just an honor, man. So we ask that if you can't catch us live, we ask that you hit pound, comment in the replay in the comments to catch us. Bro, you got anything?
No, man. Just happy to be here.
How you feeling?
Doing all right.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm always
You know the
fired
team
up when I'm
good,
around
man.
with Casey,
I'm
man.
overly excited. I ain't gonna lie, I'm overly excited, man. Again, like I said, I don't really be in this type of setting too much, but it's also a great feeling to be in here again on the good side. We're gonna dive into the show. We got some questions for the judge. Mainly my questions and things I want to get into is tell us about the program that I graduated from, the ReEntry Program.
Absolutely. So with Kendall's help and some of the other guys, we came up, Mr. Jefferson, we came up with the name, because we didn't want to just be ReEntry Court. What are we doing? And we came up with the Roll Court, Rebuilding Our Lives. And that's the program here, the idea. And it started with Judge Walton, who's, I always joke around when we're in the courthouse that Judge Walton and Sandre Rhodes, who's a PO, these are the two OGs. They started this off because they saw there was a great need. People were getting out of being incarcerated and back on supervision. But what were people doing to support that? And I was like, I always say, we talk about this in court. You can't drop somebody off in the middle of the ocean, weigh them down, and say, go swim to shore. And if they drown, then, well, you're surprised. Well, of course that's going to happen. You got to set people up to succeed, not to fail. And so Judge Walton, he came up himself with this idea. At first, he was actually going to meet with everybody when they were coming out, even it wasn't his case. He said, talking to them about like the challenges of being back on the outside. There's a lot of mental health challenges, employment challenges, housing challenges. And so Judge Walton wanted to get these guys. And I just admire Judge Walton. He's just really incredible. He's like a titan, really. He's a legend. Because he then started off this program of the ReEntry Court. He's like, what can we do more than just me meeting with these guys? How can we help them, And he was a public defender, and he was a prosecutor. So he's seen it from both sides.
That's major.
Yeah, and
That's
so.
Because most people that go with public defenders, we already got in the mind state that they on y'all side, so we kind of get on the defense side. I had a public defender, and it wasn't a great experience.
Right.
So it was kind of like, is it working for me or not? But all of them are not in that situation.
That's true.
I kind of had one that was like just coming on, so
Okay.
he really didn't know what was going on either. So yeah, I seen both sides of that
You've
too.
seen it? Yeah. No, I feel very lucky here in the D.C. Federal Courthouse. I think we have the best public defenders in the country. We got people who've gone to some of the best schools in the country, some of the best experiences, because it's not just about the book smart. You have to understand how in the courtroom to connect with the judge, and they don't teach you that in school. So Judge Walton had that very unique experience. I've seen it from both sides. And so he started the reentry court here with our probation office hand in hand. And it's a lot of resources because they're trying to get support, make sure on the roll court that that probation officer really clean the deck, because that's what they're focused on, is supervising the guys. We're meeting twice a month, every 2 weeks. So it's a lot of resources that are expended. And so people always are going to say, like, oh, is it worth it or not? One of the things we're so proud about is on the Rebuilding Our Lives court, graduates of the program, and it's been for several years now, we have zero, not 1%, zero recidivism. But the point isn't just about recidivism. I always talk about this in court. I'm not looking to just make sure someone doesn't get arrested again. I want to see, are they getting a good job? They get a good house? Are they settling down, having a family? Returning citizens should have the same goals and dreams that I have growing up. It's not fair that people put a ceiling on them and say, nah, you should just be happy to not get arrested again. That's not enough. They should want to have, we shouldn't beat out of them and drain out of them the desire to have the same American dream that other people, coming out of the womb, they think, oh yeah, I'm going to have this big house, fancy job, great car and all that. They should have that too. And so what Judge Walton, and again, credit goes to him, because this is way before my time. Some of these reentry courts, they're just going looking for like the easy cases, kind of layups. Right. They take in the Rebuilding Our Lives court, they only take people in the high-risk categories, people that have had, a lot of challenges in front of them, and that's not easy. And people said, oh, maybe you won't succeed. But Judge Walton and Probation Officer Rhodes, our Chief Schaefer, they're like, let's do this. That's what we want to do. And then Stallman, of course, came in, and Yep, and he is the man. He's out there in the community. He knows where people are at. He's going out there and talking to them again. And you got the judges coming every 2 weeks. Now, we had a couple guys, I don't want to use their names, but we had one guy, who had a lot of problems. You actually even did a restorative justice program with him, trying to explain to him, like, hey, when you're getting on these Instagram videos, messing around with the drugs and the guns, like, let me talk to you about some of my family who's been impacted about that. It's not just about violating people. It's about what's the reason we're doing it. But we try real hard in reentry court. We had people from the initiative that Meek Mill started out to come and speak about how technical violations, we're looking to just make sure, understand what happened. Like, we had a guy in reentry court the other day, and he missed his mental health therapy. But the reason is, he's like, I can't go to that neighborhood because it's not safe for me there. And so we said, okay, well, let's go find a different provider. And again, credit to probation office. I said, we'll do some of that stuff. We'll bring them in here, into the office. And so you've got to look at these things holistically. Like, why is someone not complying? It's not just that they don't care about the court, they don't care about the judge. It could be other stuff going on in their lives. And so reentry court's about finding these guys and getting them the resources they need, and not just trying to say, like, oh, you slipped up, we're going to violate you. It's like, well, why did you slip up? What am I doing as the judge? What is probation doing? What are we doing to help you succeed so you don't slip up? So we got a lot of resources we can talk about. Some of the folks, the mentors that came in, Mr. Massey and his crew that they came in.
Facts. Yeah. And one thing that you did say is that y'all don't automatically violate. And just being in the class that I was in, I don't think we had not one violation. Now, I'm not saying people didn't make mistakes, but we didn't have any violations. And there was chances that people could have got violated. I could have got violated, like, just to be honest. Like, I could have got violated. But they give you the chance. But you have to be honest. That's the key. That's communicate, honesty, and you have to be upfront. Like, it can't be no beat around the bush or 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or I'm going to tell them a little bit, but I can't tell them everything. Listen, we're not asking you to go against your morals or principles. I always say that. They never question mine. But you have to be honest about what's going on with you.
Just got to be real. Yeah.
That's it. And that's the main thing.
You were always real with the group, but that was the other thing, is that, like, one of the things we really believe on the roll court is that, think of the other guys that were in it. I mean, someone like the one you do the restorative justice session with. You don't have to be like, that's not my problem, that's on that dude, right? Like, he can go do his thing. Yeah, exactly. You took time out of your weekend, and you're like, I'm going to go sit down, have a meal with him, talk, figure out what we can do to help each other out. And so part of that being real was like, that encouraged some of the other guys, some younger, some older, to be like open. And you were like, look, this is what I'm struggling with. This is hard, right? People think like, oh, a guy gets back on the outside, they're just so happy, everything's easy, they're just going to hit the ground running. They don't understand that. And I mean, from my perspective, I don't either, because I've never been through that. But one of the things I talk about is losing my dad, other things in my life that were challenging, and I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. But if you're not real with me and you don't tell me what's going on, then I can't be of help. I mean, talked about it yesterday at ReEntry Court. How can we help you if you don't trust us? And I understand why guys are suspicious about trusting a judge. Because the only time people have, my mom loves to go give my card to people. She's like, oh, I'm going to give my card. I was like, no one wants a judge's card. By the time you get it to court, that's too late. I mean, you know, that's like giving someone a mortuary card or something like that. That's not a helpful thing when you're alive. It feels like people, when they come in here, they've had bad experience with judges, bad experience with the criminal justice system. And so what we're trying to do with our court is like show you, like, hey, we're people too as judges. We're trying to get there out in the community. One of the things that we go is we talk to schools. And one of the things we talked about with you is that, like, getting you out there to talk to people about, like, hey, Judge Faruqui didn't say it like this. Let me tell you my experience with him. It's not just him talking the talk. These guys are trying to walk the walk. So I do a lot of work in schools, and it's not just in D.C. We were down in Miami in a school on Zoom talking to them. And I was like, I don't want the first time that you see a judge is that you come in here and you got a charge. That's not fair. I mean, think about the first time you go to emergency room. Hopefully you've seen a doctor before that. You think you can trust them and something like that as a kid growing up. But if the first time you saw a doctor in your life was you came to emergency room, the person's like, you're about to die, you got to do this surgery, and if you got to trust me, be like, well, I don't know you. Like, I don't know the whole world in here. And this is like, I mean, it's scary. Even when I go to the emergency room or something like that, even another place, like it's cold and it's loud and all the things are going on. It's like, how do I know you care about me?
Right.
How do I know that you don't have something else that happened to you in your mind, or you're not thinking about the next thing? How do I know you're invested in me and that you're listening to me? And so that's part of our goal here. It's like, hey, I know you might not feel like you can trust a judge, but I'm not asking you to trust a judge. I'm asking you to trust me, Judge Faruqui. I'm not every other judge, right? Just like you tell me, hey, you violated 3 other guys. But that wasn't Kendell Callaham. That was 3 other guys. So I need you to look at me and my situation. So, I mean, I think that you challenge me and I challenge you, but I think we both grow because of it.
Absolutely. Me and you have like a unique friendship, for real.
For real.
Are there any rules and regulations that you have to follow to participate in the program?
Absolutely. So the reentry court is collaborative. It's not just the judges, it's not just probation office, it's the public defender's office, and it's also the prosecutor's office. So they all get together and they say, like, here's a candidate we think could benefit from this program. And then they go through their due diligence. I mean, it's real intensive when they want to find the right men and women. We had one woman in your class, and they're trying to find them to say, can we get them into this program? Now, once they go through, they look at their background, the charge they had, what they're doing, if they're outside already, because some guys, they've been out for a minute, other ones are just about to come out. And they say, like, is this someone who could benefit from this program? Because we don't want to just put somebody in there who it's not going to be of use to them. I mean, that's no point. I mean, people don't understand. One of the things a public defender always reminds me is, like, Judge Faruqui, you love to get in people's business. You love to see them, but you don't understand when they're on paper, that is a burden on them, it can be. And so, like, you got to appreciate, like, when guys have to come down here because they got a job or they got to go do these extra meetings or things like that. So we're not trying to put something on somebody if we don't think it can't help them. But I do believe that we find the right people thanks to the probation office and the prosecutor's office. I always tell the guys, like, I mean, I was a prosecutor before I came to this.
Right.
People always think, like, oh, that means you're not going to care about these guys. It's like, no, that doesn't mean that. Prosecutors should be in that job because they care about the public, they care about public safety, victims, the community, but community also means that people are charged. They're trying to do the right thing. And so when you look through the program, they go through the evaluation and see, the number one rule is being honest. Judge Walton said that yesterday. You got to be honest, and you got to be 2 feet in, like you said. You got to want this. You got to. We'll open up the resources, but if you don't want this and you're just trying to coast through, it's not going to mean nothing. And like, if you're successful and you graduate like you did, you gave the valedictorian speech at our graduation ceremony, then you're going to year cut off for your time. But like you did so good, some of the other guys, then maybe you can get more time cut off from that too. So that's the nominal benefit, right, is that you get a year cut off. But I think the real benefit is that brotherhood, right, that you get from the group, and then some of the resources that we get.
Absolutely.
So we get the mentoring, right?
Mentoring.
That you're doing now.
And you get all the resources. Like
The professional mentoring that you had, right?
You did professional mentoring, the leads program. It just opens up the door for you to have another outlet.
Yeah.
You know, because to have Judge Faruqui on my side is kind of great to go through that program that I went through, just to be able to, like I say, challenge myself to see if I can accomplish something. You know, that was a good one for me. How they picked me was, I can go ahead and tell you, Mrs. Stallman picked me because I was at risk. not because of going back in and out of prison, because I only did one stint, one bid, 10 years, and that was it. But I would involve my family's issues and create an issue. You see what I'm saying? So that made me at risk. Just being short-tempered and things that he was seeing that I wasn't working on made me at risk. And at first I turned the program down because it's not mandatory for you to go in it. You're picked. So at first I was going to turn it down because it was just like more stuff for me to do. And I'm still already on probation. Yeah. It's like, bro, like, I'm trying to get off probation. I ain't trying to keep going through all this. I ain't trying to keep being watched. And I was already off, I ain't trying to go having to come back down to the courthouse every day, taking 2 hours out of, and at the time I was delivering. Yeah. So I needed them 2 hours. Like, you're taking my 2 hours, and that's how I make money. And I used to be on his line, like, bro, you got to talk to them. Yeah. Because I'm not about to keep coming down there, and they're not about to, but at the same time, it was a challenge for me that I accomplished, and I used it to my advantage because the help that I was getting wasn't the help that I really, really had the money for. You know what I'm saying? Like, the therapist that they gave me would have cost me arm and a leg. Yeah. Put it like that. So it's like, when you got them on your side, they tell you to take advantage of your opportunity, and they make sure that they provide you with the opportunity. It's up to you to take it. And I accomplished it. It was, like I said, it was 4 phases. And you had to really be on time was the main thing. Communication was the main thing.
Communication's huge.
When you say you're going to do something, you have to do it. And you just have to abide by the rules. And when you do, you get the benefits. They do award you. They do show you in front of a broadcast. Yeah. Like, they broadcast you. So it make you feel like, all right, I'm part of something. Because a lot of dudes wasn't part of nothing. And a lot of women, like the woman that graduated with us was by herself. Like, she really was a lady that came from nothing. Like, really changed her. And you could see the struggle in her. You could see her battle her drug addictions and things and that. You could see it. Like, she's fighting. But she'll tell you, look, I'm fighting. And I'm going to keep fighting. I don't got nowhere to live at, but I live in this room. And little do she know, I did the same thing. I ain't have to, but I did it to challenge myself to make it beneficial for me. And it worked because I was honest. So that's the main thing. Like you said, communication, honesty. The last thing, Judge, what would you say about me being an experience to the program?
Yeah, it's one of my best experiences, I wouldn't say the program, in my life. Kendell, I told you that I had a case where there was a guy and he had messed up. So like we just talked about, is that when you see somebody and you're a judge, who do you see? Do you see the orange jumpsuit? Do you see that they're in jail? Do you see their rap sheet? And I said the thing that this program does is, when I see somebody now, I see them, I'm trying, but I also see Kendell Callaham in them. I say, this is the person that can be a leader, right? This is somebody that can go lift people up. So the program, it changes the game. I mean, it's a game changer. Judge Walton and what they're doing, it changes the way that we're engaging with people. And it's not only about how do they engage with the court, because I'm a public servant. My job, I work for you. I work for everybody else here. I'm a DC resident. I appreciate there's things going on in our neighborhood, our community. People are concerned. But at the end of the day, if people are dissatisfied with the judges, we need to figure out what's going on. We got to follow the law. That's the number one thing. But there's a whole world out there of space that we have to operate and try to say for people to be like, well, how can I do a better job? This is the only job I ever had in my life where you don't get a review, right? Like any job, someone says like, oh, okay, you did a good job on this, you did a bad job on this at the end of the year.
That's great. I just talked about my review.
Yeah, see? But I don't get a review in this. And so I want the people in court. I ask the prosecutors all the time, public defense, to tell me how I can do a better job. I may not do it. I tell my wife all the time. She would say he doesn't do it, but I'm trying. I want to get that feedback. And so the reentry court is important also, because you had the courage to step up there, and you said once, you're like, Judge Z, like, hey, Jay-Z, I didn't have, I'm from Virginia Beach, we didn't have judges that talk like this. And you were like, oh, that's great that you're so good. And I said, hold up. Does it mean I'm good, or does it mean that the judges need to step up their game, right? Because I appreciate you try to put a positive spin on it. You didn't go negative and be like, oh, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. You're just like, oh, you're cool. But then again, the program to me was important from your work in it, because you made me open my eyes to see, like, what's going on? What are people going through? What is the mental health resources we're getting them? So since you got on that, Storm and I started talking. We're trying to get new cognitive behavioral therapy, new resources open for people. Again, stuff that no one could afford on their own. A lot of people, their insurance isn't good or things like that. They're not going to be able to get this. But we're getting them to come volunteer their time because they came and saw you speak. And so they're like, oh, man, we could be working with somebody like that? So it's not about Judge Walton and Judge Faruqui. It's about you and the guys in there that when you were honest and real and vulnerable and had that courage. I told a guy last week, I was like, man, he was crying, he got all upset. I was like, why are you upset? That is part of a human emotion. If you're around people that tell you that's a sign of weakness, you need to get them out of your life because they're poisoning you. It takes courage to be real. It doesn't take courage to be hard. It's easy to be hard and just push that away. It's hard to be vulnerable and be honest with your feelings. It takes a lot of courage to do that. Because you did that, it changes me, how I see people. It changes how we see that reentry court. It brought people in. I mean, you change a game. You change a game. That's why I'm so proud of you, man.
Appreciate it. Man, I appreciate that, Judge. I appreciate the show. I appreciate you joining us. You got anything you want to say?
I appreciate your brother because I know how much your brother's standing by you when you come out here and all the
my
things you do
number
for
one
it. I know.
supporter.
I said I'd like to think I'm the third Callaham brother. I was playing with him yesterday. I'm the second one, but I know you're Kendall's favorite ego, man. He puts you up there on the pedestal. One of the things I seen that you talked to a guy the other day for me who had just got out, I did 15 years, is that you are so lucky when someone has a family like this there who's got your back because there's no difference. And family can be blood, and that I don't want people because I don't have any brother or sister. I'm an only child. And like I said, my dad passed. It was just my mom and me. Family isn't just your blood. It's the people that love and support you. But when it is your blood, man, yeah. You're rich in a way that I'll never be. To have a brother like that who's looking out for you and cares so much about you.
And if like some of the things they do, that's what I try to follow. Like, I wouldn't get out here and speak if he wasn't doing it. You know, I probably wouldn't be so open with myself. You know, laying everything I got going on the line. You know, I ain't that open with it, but I mean, he made it possible for me to do it because he do it. You know, he do it every day. I commend him. It's a challenge. You know, I'm hard-headed. You know, I commend him for sticking beside me. You know, I'm very stubborn. You know, and one person that sticks beside me is my brother. So, yeah, we go at it. It's but not in a negative way. So, like I said, I appreciate him, man. He's passionate about life. He's passionate about just everything, man. And I just appreciate both of y'all.
Same.
Yeah, I'm just waiting, man. Everybody knows what I'm on, man. I'm waiting to see it really work. I'm waiting to see people really change. I'm on another level, and I understand that, but it's just deeper. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the conversation you guys have. I pray that it helps other people going through the same thing. I'm more so on the outside looking in at that situation. I have a total different perspective just on things on how we could work together and people in our community and people in our family. So it's good to see, you know, just some type of positive connection between somebody who once was in the system and went through, you know, the jail system and they're coming out trying to readjust to society. One thing that I would love just to see if there's any type of mental health or if there's any type of ways that people are trying to heal, that they have like a intervention with themselves quarterly, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, because where my brother speaks on going at it, I don't appreciate it. You know, I don't like going at it, and I'm really, like I said, and I continuously say, I'm in a different space to where people can do that, and they have the energy for that. They have the, we can argue and it's going to be okay tomorrow. I'm looking for these things to really heal people and really take that time for men to be men, because as you said, you know, be vulnerable But that's when you show that you're mature. That's when you show you have your emotions under control. Because that's all therapy and stuff is there for you to get in control of yourself, so you don't flip out. I believe we all have that there. Just like today, my bike was stolen from in front of my house, and I was highly upset.
Yeah.
But I can't allow that to run into other people, so I just went and looked for my bike, literally. And in my mind, I'm like, man, you stole my bike in front of my crib. I really wanted to push whoever was on my bike off because I didn't leave my bike outside. I left it right in front of my door. But then at the same time, the guy was just like, man, I'm gonna just find your bike, not the person. So it's cool, you know what I mean? But we all have to, take heed to who's really there to help, who's more of a distraction. Because I believe that's another thing when people come out of jail and they come out of that, they go back to the same environment, the same people who was placing them in that environment. And I've seen people commit suicide in my family. I've seen all these. I just had a conversation with my cousin the other day, and I said, the best way to honor somebody that passed away is really change the dynamic in the family. Why are we still getting drunk? Why are we still arguing and fighting amongst one another? Somebody took their life because they were hurt and they didn't have nobody around them. So we have these bodies around, but these bodies really do need to heal so they can be of use. Instead of, these the rules, follow these rules, you check them off the box. Now it's when nobody ain't looking.
Right.
It's just like the Kobe Bryant syndrome. When he went to the gym with a broken hand while other people go to the club, it's like, bro, I don't care who's looking and who's not. I want to be the greatest. That's how people got to start feeling about themselves. I want to be the greatest version of myself. I'm going to do this when nobody's looking, not when the supervisor.
Right.
Because you can also push people away that are there to help, and they just be like, oh, you going to do that? Oh, you going to act like that? You know what I'm saying? And me, I'm crying out for that. You know what I'm saying? Like people that really, like, yo, the Wolves, it's time to pick up and go because we playing from behind, and not just on the terms of judicial system. I've never been in the judicial system that deep outside of traffic.
Yeah.
But man, the odds are still against me when you have people that are around you and you're not working together. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I appreciate it. There's deeper conversations that we probably have more off the line. But anyway, I'm always looking to help people. As they really help themselves. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Man, it's been an honor, man. We always try to keep you informed about the emergency mental health line 988. So if you're dealing with anything, you having any type of harmful thoughts to yourself or to somebody else, you just need somebody to talk to, you need to release, vent, get over it, dump it, whatever you have to do, you can hit 988. It's your personal line for mental health emergencies. So, man, we have come to a closing. Man, we hope y'all enjoyed the dialogue, the conversation, the emotions from conversation me and the judge share. Man, we ask that if you're watching, man, that you like, comment, subscribe, click the bell. You need to leave any comments. You can leave them in the comment section. If you miss us live, you can always hit pound. Replay in the comment section. You want to just reach us personally with any type of questions, any type of comments, any type of thing that you got information for us, anything on your mind. You can hit us on the leaders only 22@gmail.com. It's been a blessing, man. Peace. Thank you, Judge.
Thanks so much, guys.